Well, let's make a how to unplug a lexion video. So it's day 3 or 4 of soybean harvest. We only get a few acres a day because I usually get one round into the wagons, and then I start my day in the shop, and then in the afternoon I combine, I get one round into the wagons, and then that usually ends the day. It just, you run out of time. And so for the most part, been pretty boring. Drive up and down the field, collect your soybeans, and dump. I got a grass clump in there, and it happens sometimes. It happens. I don't know if anybody else has ever plugged their combine before, but I plugged this one, and so I'm going to show you. We're going to walk through this and see if this works on camera. So what we got to do is, because you got your APS up front, and then this little belt is the other side of the main cylinder shaft. Your thrashing cylinder is right there, you know, spinning that's the access door for your concave. And right here is your impeller, and then it feeds the rotors. And then you got your 2 big rotors like a New Holland. So the grass clump is right here. So what I think, before I climb in the grain tank and come through some doors and dig out, I opened up the concave all the way, and I've already dug out the rock trap. So I'm gonna see if I can't roll everything over backwards by hand. And if we come over to this side, I'm gonna grab the big V-belts, see if I can't roll it over backwards by hand, and just, you know, back feed it through the concave and out the rock trap. If that don't work, then what we do is take excuse me, is we'll take this nut and turn that nut in, and that will detension our tightener, and then you pull the pin out. So now the impeller won't turn. So then we take the door off the top of the feeder house, that big door, and you start your cylinder up, and it will puke anything in that cylinder area. You'll just throw it out here on the feeder house. Then you wipe that away. And then if that impeller is that jammed, then there's some panels in the grain tank. You crawl through and just dig that crap out. But I hope we can roll it backwards. Let's get going. There's no turning it backwards. I can rock it so the cylinder's free. I just can't get it over that hump. So we'll just tighten this bolt, and I really like this theory from Lexion, is you only run this nut up, you know, a 1/2 inch, and then it's got it detensioned, versus unthreading that thing, you know, 3, 4, 6 inches. But yeah, so I'll get this detensioned, and then we'll hop in the cab and see if she can't puke something out. All right, combine's at idle, concave is wide open. We'll engage the separator and see if it's there. The chopper kicked on. Saw some stuff. For right now, then I'm also going to go over here to cylinder speed and slow that way down. So when we go to start up that impeller, we're not crazy fast. So let's go see if anything puked out. Shut that down. There we go. Just like my dates in school, they did throw up a little bit. That wasn't very nice about myself, but so we got a small square bale of grass there. So we'll get this off of here and we'll get this off so you can see. Right there's our rub bar. That's the top of thrashing, but you can see some grass sticking down behind that impeller. But at least now when we go to roll backwards, all this stuff is clean, free, gives us a fighting chance to see if we can't now roll backwards by hand. We'll put tension back on the impeller and give it a try. Otherwise, we still got to go up in the grain tank. Turning that nut back down, and at this point, I'm only 15 minutes into this problem. Like anybody that's ever cleaned their rock trap, you know that only takes you a couple minutes. And then just a couple minutes to loosen that belt and remove that door. And so at this point, we're not really like, holy heck, this is a bad plug. So yeah, let's see if we can't keep going. So rolling it by hand, if I roll it backwards, the shaft won't turn. But by hand, and I roll it forward, that shaft turns. So let's hit the separator switch and see what happens. Worst case scenario, a lot of white and blue smoke. Okay, so lots of blue smoke. At this point, I'll shut the engine off, hop in the grain tank, open them panels up. We'll dig that grass out and give it a try. So I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's some grass right here. The impeller is supposed to be down here somewhere. So we'll dig all this out, and then we'll take this door off and dig all that out. Yay! So we took this side off. There's no plug on this side, which is nice. And you can see there's the transition going into the rotor. So these holes are for a wear kit or an aggressive kit to be put on. And it's plugged right in the middle there. And on later model Lexions, you can get a knife kit in that middle that cuts through this kind of trash so you don't get that there. I'm proud to say, in the years of owning this combine, this is the first plug that I've had in this area, and hopefully I go many years without another one in this area. So now it's just like unplugging your round baler. Is you just got to get that one little wad of, you know, it's a football, just packed, squeezed tight in there under pressure. And so it's just one strand at a time to get that out. And then, yeah. All right, got her freed up. There's this little clump of hay, a small square bale worth of hay, but you can see we're good to go. We're good to go, so I can put my panels back on and toss this hay over the edge. Whew, let's get back into beans. So that's kind of the gist of unplugging a Lexion with a nasty plug. All right, so all in all, it took me about 2 hours from the time it plugged to the time I had it right now ready to go back to the field. If you had a nasty plug inside the cylinder, the only thing I would say differently is you can take your bolts out of your 2-speed and then you can turn on the separator and slow that cylinder down. Then you put your bolts back into low range, and then the cylinder is as slow as possible for as much torque as possible. And yeah, otherwise it wasn't hard work. It was just a time thing. I climbed down once and rolled so when I climbed up into the grain tank Everything had just been trying to go forward. So I dug out what I could. I came down once, rolled the system backwards as much as I could, and then climbed back up. Took a pair of pliers with me and would just clamp some of that grass and pull and pull and pull. And then it started to loosen up pretty quick. Once you got where you could rock that impeller by hand, then it's just a matter of grab and tear. But yeah, that was a good one. That was a good one. So, all right, I hope this helps somebody. And yeah, thank you guys.